What's going on, guys? This is Oliver, formerly from Response AI and now from trycomb.com, getseer.com. I'm really excited about how many subscribers I'm getting at the minute, to be honest. Like, everyone is just really supportive right now, and my videos are doing really well. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone because I'm going to keep doing them. I've got hundreds of videos planned, and I'm excited to just keep giving you guys things. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be talking about essentially customer support. So one of the most boring and tedious and annoying things about running a software is that obviously it constantly breaks, and that's okay because, you know, you've got to fix it. Otherwise the product's not very good. But obviously, depending on how good at code you are, whether you have engineers that can help, whatever it may be, this channel is obviously more about building your own software alone as a solo founder. Basically, I want to talk to you guys about how to do like really good customer support. So, it's typically known as like a cost center. In other words, it's just something that you have to pay for. But your customer support can make you more money. It can make you a happier person as a solo founder because your clients like what you do and your customers like your software. And in this video, I just want to talk to you guys about how in Response AI, we excelled in customer service and customer support, and people loved the tool and people never felt like they were left, in the dark about things. So in essence, for solo founders, customer support is your unfair advantage. So while teams, like big teams, drown in, massive process and these nightmarish, 5-day wait times to get help, you have agility, right? And you can help people at every turn, and every support interaction can turn into a lesson for your software. And the key lies in sort of treating support not as a chore, but as a system for using, for like deepening relationships with customers, and obviously extracting insights about how you can make your SaaS better, guys. Like in essence, really, you're in the position of getting information from a customer. You're getting information about why they don't like it, what is broken, and then you're just going to iterate on that, and your software is going to get better and better by the week. Now, this does require a mindset shift. So your customers are co-developers. They're not just customers who hate you and who are there to just sort of complain. They are developers too, and they are sort of like stakeholders in your business, and their frustrations are your roadmap. Now, you can take inspiration from Superhuman's early days, where CEO Rahul Vohra personally handled support to uncover pain points that shaped their onboarding flow. So this is an important mindset shift, guys, is that customer support, you cannot think of it as a chore anymore. You have to think of it as an opportunity to improve. And if you're not going to improve, then you're not going to hit the milestones you want, like say 5K a month, 10K a month, 100K a month. All of these companies that have done that, it's because they value customer support and they understand the importance of it. Now, essentially, he did this, the CEO of Superhuman, he did this because he uncovered pain points that shaped their onboarding flow. So as a solo founder, you're sort of conducting live user research every time someone complains. And I've talked about onboarding in the past on this channel. Onboarding is mega important, and it's very important that you know where people are going wrong and why. Now, embed support into your product's DNA. So great SaaS support begins before users even ask for help. So let's talk about the contextual help layer, right? So instead of these sort of generic FAQs, that sort of, that I suppose just answer generic questions, you can build help into the workflows. For example, when a user hovers over a complex feature like API rate limits, right? Show a tooltip with a little loom, like a 10-second loom, that you recorded explaining the common use cases for the API rate limits. You can use empty states as teaching moments. So let's say a project management tool, the blank dashboard could say, this is where Sarah from similar industry or company tracks her team's progress. Click here to copy her template, or click here to auto-generate something that she used. So that's a contextual help layer where instead of just making someone go to like a support desk and just ask like generic questions, I suppose how I do it for GetSeer, for example, is that on most pages, I have a load of tooltips. When you hover over the tooltips, I'm giving you advice on how to use my software. Not like generic advice about the whole tool. I'm talking about if you hover over a button that says launch or a button that says add keywords, The little tooltip is going to say, here you're going to add keywords and it's beneficial to add X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Here's the reason you do it, whatever it may be. The idea is that contextually, the customer is stuck inside your dashboard, and you want to make sure that every single step of the way they have contextual help in the form of tooltips. And tooltips are obviously very easy to code. I always add tooltips. You can even ask Lovable or Cursor to go through your whole app and add tooltips where relevant next to the buttons, you know? And in getSEO.com right now, one of my softwares, there must be 15 to 20 tooltips inside the software. And they're all just little gray boxes that pop up and say, here's the reason you should click this button. Now, in essence, really, Buffer, for example, excels here by placing support inside the products. They have these question mark tooltips. They open context-aware guides, reducing tickets by 32%. So it's not just like general support tickets about the product, but also about where the customer is in that specific flow of the journey, you know? And I use Buffer. It's really, really good. And I never feel lost in it because of the tooltips. The dynamic knowledge base. So traditional knowledge bases collect dust, right? Yours should kind of evolve almost like a Wikipedia. So you can use AI like ChatGPT to analyze support tickets and auto update articles, or at least update them, whenever you're starting to get a fair amount of support tickets that have the same problem, you know? Now, when it comes to really, I suppose, creating a support system that works for customers, you're in the position where all of the customer support tickets you get, guys, are going to be the same, right? They're going to be more or less the same. If you have a tool that does A, B, or C, most of your support tickets are going to be pretty sort of like samey. Now, if users keep asking you how to export data to Google Sheets, then your system should add a step-by-step guide and alert users about that native integration. Or you can turn docs into a progress game. So you can reward users with badges or points or discounts or whatever for reading the advanced articles. Because remember, what I do is I ask people to watch a video, and then once they've watched the video or a series of videos, I give them extra credits, right? And the general basis is that what will cost me $1 in extra credits means that they'll probably never reach out to me for support, which saves me a lot more than $1, guys. So do you see what I'm getting at here? If you can offer things to people that reduce their likelihood of reaching out to you with a problem, whilst also making it fun, then you're building a really, really powerful support system. So with Response AI, my previous software that I sold, we had like videos that you could watch, and if you watch them, you get credits. If you submitted your own video on how you used it, you would get credits. If you shared a bug to us, you would get credits, those kinds of things, and rewarding users with badges or credits or some kind of I suppose, treat that creates a really, really cool support flywheel, guys. Now, the preemptive strike. So support that anticipates people's problems. So elite support doesn't just wait for tickets to come in like, oh, I have this problem. It prevents them. So the 48-hour radar, track behavioral red flags that predict churn or problems. So a user who logs in but doesn't click anything. So that could be a form of cognitive overload. Why have they logged in and then not clicked anything? Why have they logged in and not taken the next step? Why have they logged in and not, I suppose, effectively done what they're paying you to achieve? Or someone exporting data twice in 1 hour. And if they're exporting their data off the app, it means they're probably preparing to leave. So that's when you should maybe email them and be like, okay, guys, you've exported the data. What's going on? Is it something that we've done? Can we help? Or is it for some other reason? And you can set up automated nudges. So think about how we did it with Response AI is if someone didn't log in for 3 days, they'd get an email. If someone didn't create a campaign for 5 days, they would get an email. If someone didn't click launch on a campaign a day after they'd created it, they would get an email. It's almost like the basket. When you leave a basket on an online shop, it says, hey, you're not coming back to buy these jeans. And the reason that really works is because you've met a customer where they're at, and you've said, look, you're almost done with the process of getting the thing you want. You just have to go a bit further. Now, you can say on an automated nudge, not sure where to start. Let's build your first X or Y together. Reply to this email, guide me. You can use Resend for these emails, or Superbase, that kind of thing, or Intercom. Now, for power users hitting limits, for example, you're in the top 5%, unlock our founders tier for custom workflows or that kind of thing. Zapier's all-hands support model trains even engineers to spot these signals during interactions. So it goes from turning someone into a potential risk of cancelling your app to upsell opportunities. Like, you can say, look, I noticed that you have exported all your data. Is this because you're not getting X or Y? After you've had that conversation, guys, over email, or you can pay them for a Zoom call. I always recommend this in every video I've ever done. Pay them $50 to sit on a Zoom call with them and talk to them about their problems. And people will take $50 for half an hour or an hour. People are happy to take the $50. Zapier does this by, effectively organizing their systems and organizing their software in a way that allows people to realize, wait, I feel like that guy is going to churn because he hasn't clicked on anything, he hasn't launched anything, etc. Now, the onboarding time machine. So most SaaS onboarding fails because it teaches features, not outcomes. So I've talked about this so much, guys, on this channel. You have to understand that the only reason people are ever going to buy a software from you is because they want to achieve a result. And if that result is not achieved in a time frame that is acceptable to them, they will cancel, right? So you should reframe support as a time-saving promise. So a solo founder's SEO tool might auto-generate a mock audit during sign-up, of their website. You'll save 6 hours a month, like these 2,000 users. You can use fake progress bars to trigger completion bias. So after the first task, well, they're not really fake, they're real, but they're just like a bit fluffy. After the first task, which might be to name a campaign, you can jump 20% to now the setup, or you can jump to 100% ready. Users feel momentum even if it's staged. So how I do this with GetSeer is when you add your website and your business offer, the progress bar goes like a third green. Then you're at the second stage, and it's sectioned. And then when you add your keywords for your offer, it gets the second one done. And then finally, the third one done. You see how you're going through this, and the green bar is actually animated and moving, right? And it's very easy to code that. Now, this is the solo founder's playbook, turning constraints into superpowers. So the signature method. Basically, with Response AI, I made sure that every single person that ever used the app knew that it was me talking to them, and that it was me effectively helping them with this with my tool. Now, the reason you would do this is because, sorry, my phone's going off. The reason you would do this is because when it came to the process of doing a lot of, I suppose, support, people just didn't want you to be a random, to be honest, like a random VA from some, from some random country. You're paying them $2 an hour to do the support. You don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. And they're just not happy with, I suppose, the level of support. Because listen, guys, if you have a complex tool, no one's going to really understand like you do what the tool does and the problems that the users are going to run into. So when Tiny CRM's founder, Alex, added the from Alex to emails, the general sort of reviews and feedback of the app and the scoring of satisfaction jumped about 20% because users felt like they'd bypassed what's called bureaucracy inside the SaaS. So in other words, bureaucracy inside the SaaS means that I'm not going to give you my support. I'm going to just outsource the support to someone else who doesn't really know what they're doing. That's why I always support people one-to-one and get on calls with them and then answer their emails and answer their DMs, is because they know that I'm a solo founder. I'm teaching you guys how to be solo founders, and do not outsource customer support that early on, because if you're at, unless you're at 10K a month or something, you can't even afford to hire someone, and it's going to alienate people from your tool because they're like, why isn't this guy why isn't this guy helping me? He's just giving it to some random person who doesn't understand the app. Now, You can't handle 24/7 live chat because you have to sleep, right? But you can use AI chatbots for like tier 0 support, like Intercom or Crisp, that are trained on your documents and past tickets. So there's a lot of tools that do this, guys. I can't like plug any specific ones for now. I just use Intercom, which was, at the time very expensive. You can use Crisp. You can set office hours with Calendly links. So need a deep dive, book my Tuesday slot. Calendly found that 63% of users preferred scheduling a call with someone to get support over real-time chat for like complex issues. With Response, we had like a 24/7 calendar where it would either be my co-founder or me taking the calls. And guys, we must have had like 5 to 6 hours a day of support calls, let alone calls with people who are like trying to buy. Like, do you know what I mean? You've got to just understand that if this is your full-time job, then you have to do a lot of support. If it's not your full-time job, then leverage AI and like Intercom or Crisp to answer like simple support tickets, and add loads of videos, guys, to your tool. You can add loads and loads of videos to your tool so that people run into as little problems as possible. You can even preemptively say, it looks like you've run into an error, this video might solve it. And say you get an error of XYZ or a 404 error. You can send them to a video that says the reason you got this error is because of this. And that means that you're actually automatically serving people support videos without ever having been there. You can just code that into the app. Now, the Lazarus email. So when users cancel, you can send a raw personal, sort of like message. And again, I recommend paying people for their time to explain why they sort of canceled your app. So when users cancel, send a raw email. Hey, Steve, I saw you left. As a solo founder, I take this personally, and I'm always looking to help people and always looking to understand why people are just, sort of just canceling my tool, because I'm trying to make it, as is everyone. People understand that, guys. Like, I understand that you're trying to make money with software, so I'll always give my best support and give my best feedback on your apps, right? If you say, do you like my app? I'm going to be like, no, it's crap. Because I'm not going to tell you that it's great, and I'm always going to tell founders about bugs because I'm in it to help them as well. Could you spare 2 minutes to share one thing we could fix? Just me reading every word. Either way, thanks for giving us a shot, from Ollie, right? This disarms frustration by humanizing your app, right? So one founder recovered 22% of churn users this way with like a project management tool, because you're in this position where, oh, right, the software founder, who's meant to be this rich guy who understands that, is just like away in the Bahamas drinking cocktails, he's actually at his desk, like messaging me about the problem. The philosophy of invisible effort. So the best support feels effortless because it's architected instead of improvised. Like, you don't want to be running around like a headless chicken going, what do I do to help these people? Borrow from the jobs to be done framework. Customers hire your software guys to solve specific problems. So your support's job is to make that sort of like feel like a destiny. Like, I was always going to get support from this app because it's that good, right? So when Slack's early team noticed users struggling with channels, there's loads of channels on Slack, they didn't write a guide. They added a bot that auto-created general and random with sample messages. The friction vanished and adoption soared because Slack users were just like, oh, that's what I have to do. There's already two like generic channels that we can use. And that helped a lot of people. So in your terms, guys, you got to think of that as, what can I auto create, or what can I show, or what can I build, or what can I add to my app that makes the whole process of getting that job they are paying to be done, and how do I make it more clear, And as a solo founder, your advantage is speed. So you can pivot support tactics weekly based on user feedback. You can make, Go High Level is amazing, right, guys? It's a CRM that makes millions and millions a year. They have a 24/7 channel where people from different time zones, is obviously not relevant to you guys just yet if you're a solo founder. They have like 4 time zones that are 8 hours, and there's a 24/7 support chat all year round, and you can just join it and ask questions, and there'll be, say, 10 people in the room at a time, and you can turn complaints into features faster than any committee driven team. Because say if I complain to Slack about a problem, it could take 10 years before they even read it / implement it into the app, unless it's like a burning problem. So with you guys, don't obviously change everything and fix everything for the sake of a couple of customers, but you can turn complaints into features quick because you're a solo founder and you don't have to run around and get agreement from the CEO before you add something. The empathy flywheel, right? turning constraints into connection. So solo founders often fear scaling would dilute the personal touch, but limitations force more prioritizations. You can't be everywhere, so just be everywhere that matters. So there's a 90-second rule. So research in 2024 Support Science Quarterly shows users rate support quality based on perceived effort, not resolution time. So you can implement voice notes over text. So let's quickly read that again, guys. People prefer to see that you've made more of an effort than to see that their solution is solved quicker. That's really interesting, guys, because you would think like, I just want to get the problem solved. But if I'm putting a lot of effort into helping you solve it, that's a really attractive thing, guys. And that looks really, really exciting to a user. Like, oh, this guy really cares, and he's like on a call with me or on the phone with me or like sending me voice messages. So an example is that we did a response. When a user reports a bug, reply with a 90-second voice memo. Hey, I've got this. I just tried replicating your issue. You're right. Our calendar sync breaks when or the API breaks, or this problem, or this page disappears. I'm fixing it now. Want me to walk you through a temporary fix? Like, you are literally on the phone doing this, or on your, doing a voice message. This signals genuine care that you are out and about in your life, doing your things, looking after your family, or seeing your partner, or cooking, or cleaning, or driving, and you are leaving a voice note saying, look, I totally get where you're at. It's obviously a pain in the neck that you've run into this, but just let me know what I can do to help. The 1% promise. So publicly commit to resolving 1% of tickets per month via handwritten notes. So Bond, for example, automate address collection. So you could write someone a postcard about a massive issue or whatever. I probably wouldn't recommend that specifically, but you can even do a quick video. What we did with Response is we made videos for the big clients who are running into problems and said, look, we've seen this issue and our developers are currently working on fixing it. And it'd literally be me on a video like this and my face saying, this is what we're going to do to solve it. And that's why people churn so much less when you send those videos, because they feel like they are part of your kind of like, I suppose part of your like system, Now, community as your support army. So your users are your best salespeople. There's something called the reverse mentorship program where you identify power users who are submitting like posts or tweeting or making videos. And then you offer free access to like new features in exchange for them like mentoring users. So for example, what we did is we encourage people to make videos on how to run response AI campaigns in exchange for money, in exchange for credits, and they would post YouTube videos. Not only did that do well for our marketing, but it also meant that we were doing less support because people were doing the support for us. And it creates a sort of self-perpetuating cycle. So Notion's community champion program saw 300 mentors handling 17% of support tickets without a single employee. So that's crazy, guys, because you're not even paying these people, but you might give them incentives if they like your app enough to help, I suppose, your customers. The bounty board, we have one of these. For Response AI, we have one for GetSea. Turn bug reports into crowdsourced research and development. So post unsolved issues publicly. There's a $50 bounty for a workaround to this problem, or winner gets cash and their solution featured in the docs, whatever it may be. Solo founded app coder saved $230K in dev costs because they basically got their community to support them and like help with problems. I don't recommend people, giving people your code and stuff because they can steal your app, but I'm talking about just encouraging people with monetary treats and credits and free stuff to be as supportive with you and your app as possible, because it's not just the customers who need support, you need support as well. And I love when people go, look, just a heads up, this page is broken, or this specific thing I did inside the app broke the app. I need more of that because I can't be there 24/7 testing my app. Now, turning power users into product partners. So your top 5% of users aren't just customers, they're your board of advisors, right? So you got to think almost like customers are like stockholders or stakeholders, right? The Profit Sharing Council, invite VIPs to a private Slack or Discord, and you share weekly metrics like churn, feature usage, whatever it may be. I know Clay.com do this a lot. They have a lot of people who are like actual partners. They vote on, roadmap items, or you can tweet about the roadmap and go, look, what do we add next? And members get 5% of revenue from the new features that they've made up or champion or whatever it may be, right? So I don't recommend obviously giving parts of your business away, but I'm just talking about treating people, guys, and like treating people well, rewarding them for helping you with your app, because this is long term. You might have a software for 10 years, right? Psychology hack is that people who've invested social capital become emotionally invested. So ConvertKit's 2025 council members had 92% retention versus, I think, 67% overall. So if you're part of a community that feels like you're shaping the app, that feels like a hobby to them and like a job, you know, and they're happy to do that. The CEO Escalation Gambit. So when a VIP complains, CC them on your internal fix process. So, hey, engineering board, and this is Steve, by the way, and Steve just complained about some problem. He found a critical bug. We're attaching the server logs. Let's fix this by end of day. You see how the transparency of saying, look, I'm getting the entire team involved, it turns frustration into this sort of privileged access. Like Steve is literally getting VIP treatment for this, and we're going to help him directly, and he sees that, you know. AI won't replace you guys, but it'll make your humanity more valuable. So Intercom and Crisp AI stuff, that kind of thing. You can use AI to triage, but not replace you. So train a model on your past support tickets with Intercom or Crisp. Set it to auto-respond to common queries in your like tone. Based on how I've handled similar issues, Steve, here's what I'd suggest. And then obviously flag responses that are just not happy, or, you know, they say, oh, do you need more help? With Intercom and Crisp, you can say, did this help? And you go, no, and then you get sent to actually get sent to me. The key nuance is add a PS. You know, PS, this is, you know, my AI assistant. Did I miss anything? Hit reply, I'll jump in, that kind of thing. Or let's, you know, give me your Calendly. Or you send your Calendly link and they can book in, that kind of thing. So always have some layer of like automation, because as you scale up, guys, like Get Series is closing in on like 200 or 300 customers, and it's like starting to get quite tedious or stressful to manage everyone. So now, you know, we're implementing like calls and stuff. Like, do you want to book a call with us, a 15-minute call where we can solve your problem, that kind of thing. The nostalgia ball. So program an AI to track user milestones. I always recommend this. You know, congrats on your 3-year anniversary, or you make a loom saying you've been with us for 2 years, or their birthday, or that kind of thing. AppQ's found that 38% of users who receive nostalgia tracks like this upgrade within 30 days. So all of these things sort of help you guys create a really, really positive flywheel of support. That is the end of the video, guys. If anyone has any questions or ideas or things like that, just comment below. But you need to understand that support is a long-term thing. You will have to grind for it. I grind constantly with support. With Response AI, spending hours and hours a day doing it. And then we sold the business. We loved what we did for our customers, and customers loved it. You've got to work hard, guys, and just be on the lookout for the next video. But any questions at all, give me a shout or DM me on Twitter, and take care. All right.